places in the world, New York City, specifically the East Village. I'm headed to Little Ukraine, and this place is just full of collage inspiration. I pretty much walked through the door, came home from New York City, and what did I want to do? I wanted to do collage. Because what was interesting in New York this time is I didn't find very much ephemera. The first time I ever went to New York, I wasn't doing a ton of collage. So this time I was on the lookout and I couldn't find anything that really made me collage excited. Couldn't find any old magazines or books. I was just doing a lot of sightseeing and a lot of picture taking. And so I'm home now and I am hungry to do something. So seriously, I am jet lagged. I'm trying to get laundry done. Saw Lady Liberty. That was a lot of fun. Saw a lot of great things. And as I shared in the video, before we start working here, we were in the East Village and that was too much fun. So I came into my little studio, I started sorting through, see what I had, and ideas started coming to me. I'm going to be teaching a collage workshop here in Los Angeles. If you are interested, if you're in the LA area, let me know in the comments and I can get you a little more information on that. But I think we're going to just do a little quick collage here because like I shared, I am a little on the jet lag side. So let's see if this wakes me up a little bit before I go to sleep. Dealing with contemporary and vintage imagery, which I love to do. Also, we're dealing with a limited palette, something else that I love, and something that's kind of surreal. I'm thinking of mishmashing this body with this hand. This is, you may recognize this came from the Collage Sonar, but I think I want to mix stuff maybe like this. I think it'll look good. Sometimes, I think something looks good when I'm playing, and then I take another look and I'm like, no, I don't think so, maybe not. I think I just need to get back in the groove, so I'm just going to commit and keep going with this. I think maybe looking something like this with an interesting background. We'll get rid of this extraneous space here. Now with vintage paper, I've shared before, I'm going to share it again. I find with the older the paper is, the more often I want to use my scissors. Why? Because the paper is very fragile. And for whatever reason, when I do use my X-Acto, now you can totally use an X-Acto knife with vintage paper. But for me, I like using my scissors because for whatever reason, the X-Acto is super sharp and it gets kind of scrunchy. It gets a little weird on me, and I don't like that. I just don't care for the look. So I try to stay away from it. And I prefer to use my scissors. So this is what I was kind of thinking, just something fun before I try to get my poor jet lagged body to bed. And it's not that much of a jet lag, guys. Other people have done really tremendous amounts of travel, and me, it's just really a 3-hour time difference. It's about 9:30 here on the West Coast now, which means it's 12:30 in New York City right now, and I probably would be asleep. So you can tell what kind of party animal I am. So this is what I was thinking, something along these lines. I thought about either something colorful or maybe something like this. Oh, here's Lady Liberty. That just doesn't look very interesting, so we're not going to do that. So I thought about this as a background. Kind of pops out. It's kind of crazy. And I thought about this, and that really pops out a bit more. I got to admit that this isn't. I don't know if it's really working very well together. I think there's something missing because it's a focal point. I think this may be too busy, so let's switch it. I had this leftover Egyptian stuff, looks kind of cool. I don't have a lot of it, so could use it as a portion of a background. And I was looking at this. I also had, this is even bigger. If it's bigger, I think I may want to go with that. And I just may leave it alone and call it a night and just call it done and post it because that's what I usually do. I am really grateful to the channel for forcing me to post things even if I don't think they're perfect, because I do suffer from perfectionism, and with perfectionism you don't get anything done. So I kind of just post things, whether or not if it's really awful I won't post it. But actually there hasn't even been like 5 collages that I've created here on the channel that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to post that. I don't really think I have one. Not saying that's because they're all awesome, but because I just give myself a break and just create it. And as a result, we have well over 200 videos, which means I have well over 200 collages that are done. So if something's holding you back because you think, oh, it just doesn't look good enough or whatever, just go ahead and post. Go ahead and finish it, because you'll be so surprised what happens. You'll have something finished, and I think that's the most important thing. Okay, I may do something like this. I do like the Egyptian. Okay, no, I can use my X-Acto knife for this. I want a nice clean cut, and the book page is giving us a nice clean edge. So I'm just gonna maintain that. And maybe hang on to those guys a little bit longer. I could also rip it to give it more of a just a different look. See how it's ripped here, and ripped, just because I'm cutting everything nice and clean. A ripped edge sometimes has its own beauty to it. So if you're not all for doing anything that's super clean, you want to have those ragged edges, there is a beauty in them. And I say do it if that's what you're feeling. In a way, this kind of works because it allows for the whole leg and then our scary little hand emerging from the waist. Something like this, maybe. Which means it's a little big, which means sometimes it's hard for me to get it onto the scanner. And are we trying to say anything here? No, we're just having fun here. That's all we're doing. This may be a case where I think I may just need to take a time out and see how I feel about it in the morning. Just leave it here and just don't worry about it. It had something like this to it. Maybe the hand needs something. Okay, I just pushed this down here further, the hand, into the skirt area, and now it looks like it's emerging, and it's wet, so it definitely has kind of a, I don't know, it has kind of a different feel to it. Does it need to be reaching for something? I don't know. Perhaps. I think I'm going to sleep on it. I'll see how I feel in the morning. And I'm just putting it at a slant to see what works. I had also grabbed a couple other things. I grabbed the images of these kind of serious looking guys. And of course we had the Statue of Liberty arm. Kind of goes with the New York theme. That's okay. Don't need to overdo it. I like this too. Maybe we can do something like this. And what's nice is that this face sort of matches. I don't want to get carried away again and have too many focal points going on, but I think we're on to something here. I think this might work. I like the color scheme. I like where we're going with color. So I think I'm just going to leave it alone for now. I'll leave it here on my desk, and the next time we talk, it'll be either me not talking and you're just going to see the finished piece, or I will tell you what I'm up to. This kind of looks cool too. Huh. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it alone and take a rest. I think I need it. It is the next day. It is a jet laggy day, but that's also a good thing because it forced me to get up early and reevaluate this collage. Not too much reevaluation, just maybe taking some chances while I don't have any inhibitions right now and moving things around. I still like this black backdrop with the gold leaf in it. And I went ahead and added some red pieces because without this red bit going on, it felt very, very alone. And this is my focal point, I believe. Although sometimes I think the legs are also becoming something of a focal point. I'm also going to have issue probably with scanning it because it's a little longer than I thought it would be. So we'll make do. Worst case scenario, I disassemble it and scan it in parts. Scan the body, the focal point, the face, the cuneiform hieroglyphics, and the black background. I think I'm going to scan that anyway and then play with it in Photoshop. So this would be the completed collage, and I can't even, this is the only way I can really show it in the picture frame, so apologies for that. Anyhow, I'm not going to proclaim this as the best collage or my favorite collage I've ever done, but it is a collage. It was done on New York City time in LA, so I think we're just going to name it Jet Lag. And I went ahead with the ripped look because, let's face it, the ripped look, it's awesome, it's fun, and it's primitive and something we all relate to. At some point, we've all ripped paper. And at some point, I'm going to stop this video, go ahead and scan it, and finish it and post it for you. Anyway, I'd love to hear your comments, what you think, and I'd love to hear your stories about how you deal with jet lag and creativity, because it's an interesting combination. I mean, after all, this is what we came up with. So I thank you again, as always, for sticking through it with me, and I will see you in the next video.